To dance is to be out of yourself, larger, more beautiful, more powerful. Go within every day. Find the strength so that the world does not blow your candle out.
Test. It looks way more comfortable without shoes, so I'm gonna join you on stage with that. Can you tell us a little bit about what we just saw there, Tara?
Sure. So, a few years ago, the New York City Ballet, one of the most prominent ballet companies in the world, had something rather embarrassing happen to them called the Pale Male Poster Fail. And what that was, there was a program with 5 21st century choreographers they were billed as, so current, brand new pieces. And they released a photo of the 5 choreographers, and they were all white men. And they faced quite a bit of backlash for that. And the arts are often a little bit ahead of the curve having these important conversations. So the dance world has been having these discussions about sexism and racism, been talking really loudly about that for a few years. And then Me Too happened. And that was sort of, I had been keeping up with these issues, but that was really the moment where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I was like, damn it, I'm really mad about a lot of these things. And so I decided to use 2 female composers. You just heard Hildegard von Bingen and Nadia Boulanger were my 2 tracks. And then I had 3 quotes from 3 very famous female dancers and choreographers, Agnes de Mille, Isadora Duncan, and Katherine Dunham. And although they were all really well respected and their works were critically acclaimed, none of them felt welcome in the classical ballet world. And I think that's a real problem. I would use a comparison to language. For example, the English language. We learn the grammar, we learn the vocabulary, and then that's a tool that gives us the freedom to write poetry, to tell stories, to, use our everyday vernacular within our community. And some people might look at that and say, well, that's not English. But guess what? Our language evolves with us, with our culture. And I think dance should be the same. Ballet technique is this platonic ideal. And once you study it, it has great gifts and benefits for anybody. But then you can break those rules and use your voice. And I think if more people felt like they had the freedom to do that, we'd be looking at a very different landscape right now.
Can you tell us a little bit about the props you use and the significance behind these?
Yeah, so this tutu, I sort of envisioned as kind of the ballerina fantasy, this like highly gendered tutus, shiny point shoes that little girls are just inundated with. And then everything else on stage is kind of representative of unkindnesses, that's a word, that you would see in ballet. So you have this ideal body type that you are supposed to maintain. You have the mirror you're constantly looking into, am I flexible enough? Am I doing well enough? And so those are just all things I think we can revisit. And I wanted to share with you just a couple of female innovations that are, I think, really cool and taking steps away from that glorification of pain and suffering and being perfect. One is called the Perfect Fit Point Shoe Inserts by this woman, Kelly Schmuddy. And she invented this silicone putty you can put around your foot. You have 7 minutes to then put your foot in your point shoe, mold it, and it's a personalized insert for your point shoe. I use them, and it is way comfier than paper towel or dryer sheets or lamb's wool or some really crazy things that we have been putting in our point shoes for decades. So that's really great. Less pain is good. And then Eliza Gaynor-Minden founded a point shoe company, and she uses new technology that helps shoes last longer. So, you know, point shoes are very expensive. That's a barrier to entry. That's a huge expense for a lot of dancers. And Gaynor-Minden point shoes last a lot longer than normal point shoes. She also just introduced, they're called core, I believe they're called core colors. And so as you see these shiny pink satin point shoes, they're not pink because little girls love pink. They're pink because a point shoe is supposed to be a continuation of your line, of your skin. And shamefully, until very recently, all point shoes were pink. I mean, ballet is very, very white, especially among women. And Gaynor-Minden just introduced these core colors that come in different shades of satin for different skin tones, which I think is amazing. And just to end on sort of a positive note, we're having this conversation in the dance world that you can have that beautiful discipline without devastating students or professional dancers. And for those in leadership positions, you can demand competency and even excellence without cruelty.